Welcome to Queer Narratives Beirut, a podcast about gender and sexual diversity in Lebanon's capital. You're listening to episode 7, Got Pride, part 1, Why Pride, with Hadi Damien, produced by me, Joy Stacey.
My name is Hadi Damien. I'm 29 years old today in May 2018, on the 25th of May 2018. And among many things I do, I am the initiator of Beirut Pride. Why Pride? Well, initially I used to be very critical of prides. I used to read articles about pride and see videos. And I used to say to myself, oh my God, this parade is so polluting, quite a lot of waste. I never understood why it was like this. Maybe the articles that I used to read were articles that they were criticizing a lot prides and the parades in particular. If I remember well, it was in 2016, it was in August 2016. I was abroad with my ex, and there was the Euro Pride taking place in Amsterdam. The parade was massive. I had a bottle of water, and then we were stopped by an old lady, probably in her 70s. She asked us where we got the bottle of water from. So I said, we bought it earlier from a shop, please have it. She said, no, it's not for me, it's for my dog. She had a small bichon dog. And we're like, yeah, okay. So I came closer to the dog, opened my hand, and poured water in my hand, and the dog started drinking. And the lady was very happy and very grateful. And then she asked us if we were gay. And we said yes. And then she says, oh, I'm so happy I'm gay too. And when I was your age, I never dreamt there would be a day like this one, where everybody would be celebrating gay people and lesbian people and transgender people and bisexual people. It was quite touching. And then she continued and she said, guys, don't give up. Don't think that we have it all. Everything is very fragile. We are family. We need to move forward. That shook me. And now, as I'm telling you this, I still have goosebumps. After Amsterdam, we went to Prague, and there was the Prague Pride. A different dynamic, a different way of the parade taking place. There we were walking, while in Amsterdam we were just standing and cheering. After the parade, late afternoon, my ex and I were seated in this restaurant in Prague. I remember he was on his phone. I look at him, I tell him, there would be a gay pride taking place in Beirut in a few months. And then he looks at me, he's like, really? This is amazing. You should be part of it. I'm like, oh yes, I am part of it. And then he says, but why didn't you tell me before? Tell me more. I said, well, you're officially the first person to know about it, because I just made up my mind that there would be a pride in Beirut. Before I even do Beirut Pride, I am a theater maker. I've been a theater maker since I was 10 years old. So I've been practicing theater for 19 years now. Not only as an actor, but I did technical theater, I did design for theater, I studied this, I worked in communication, I worked in marketing for cultural events, I worked on programming, whether it is private programming for a small platform or a public programming for an initiative between two governments that is taking place over 4 years. And I teach how to design events, how to organize, produce, plan, an event. And I sit on the steering committee of this postgraduate program. So there was no amateurism in the approach. And the positioning of Beirut Pride, that started in August 2016 and was released in May 2017, so it took quite a lot of time of thinking, reflection, and framing. It was clear that Beirut Pride is a collaborative platform. It is not an NGO. In Lebanon, when you want to set up an NGO, this is done for two reasons. First, for you to have the possibility of opening a bank account. And the second, for you to be able of signing legal contracts in the name of this NGO. Beirut Pride is not a contract. It is not a check. And there would be no contract signed in the name of Beirut Pride and no paycheck in the name of Beirut Pride. Because the symbolism behind Beirut Pride is way bigger, more intense than this. Collaborative platform, which means it brings people from different walks of life, different professions, different ages, different social groups, different interests. People who want to make a change, never found themselves in the work of other LGBT groups, and who have the possibility to say something, to express something. And then what happened is that people really came together with much excitement to get things done. And here, it was clear that we were reaching out to groups of people who never properly felt much concerned or much sensitive to these happenings and to these LGBT work. What would Beirut Pride want to say? It was obvious that the first thing we wanted to do was to take a stance against hate, to take a stance against discrimination that are expressed toward people who are LGBTQ. How would we express our stance against this hate and discrimination? When you want to resist, when you want to change something, there are two main ways. The first way would be for you to go down the street, take some stones, throw them at people, do what you would call a revolution. The other way of changing things is to perform consent, get inside what's happening, and change from within. We still have the chance to be dealing with human beings, not with robots and machines. We still have the chance that we have individuals that no matter what still have a little bit of empathy. And if you know how to speak to these people, things definitely change. So it's true that Beirut Pride was thought as a platform for many days with activities and happenings, and many initiatives take place. But behind Beirut Pride lays a 5-year plan for the LGBT file. A plan that operates on many levels, namely politics, media, religions, cultural and social, and the business world. In the second edition of Pride, we announced the corporate pledge, for example. This is a year-long initiative. It's a continuous initiative whereby a committee within Beirut Pride that brings people from the business world, whether they are identifying as LGBT or not, will be working with business, corporations, people from the professional world to implement policies of no hate, no discrimination against LGBT clients and employees. And this initiative is a collaborative work between the private and the public sectors in their many institutions and groups. Religions are paramount. The Lebanese civil war ended with a political agreement, Ta'if agreement, that put religions in the heart of the political life, the economical life, the life of any institution. In Lebanon, every religion considers itself to be a minority. So here we are operating in the logic of the minority. So everybody is a community by itself. And we all acknowledge that this is quite toxic. So a lot of people who identify as gay, for example, are practicing Christians, practicing Muslims, and most of them struggle between their religious heritage and culture and practice, and their emotions, desires, and sexual desires. We cannot just look at a gay man or a lesbian lady or a bisexual person or a transgender individual as being somebody only moved by their sexual desires. If we were to quickly say what Beirut Pride is expressing, we would say that it is not because you think that the other might be different from you, then it is okay to harass, to bully, to aggress. A discourse like this one is a discourse that is accepted, embraced by all religions. Because not a single religion would want to say that they are providing a frame for these kinds of violence. The first goal is to neutralize negative conditioning, hate speech, and calls for violence. This is where things start. You don't need people to love you, to like you, to accept you. I never understand why you need to ask people to accept you. All what you need to do is make sure that these people are not aggressing you. You can be neutral toward gay, lesbian, bisexual, trans, but you cannot attack and aggress. When it comes to politics, everybody says that it's very important to work on Article 534 and on the Lebanese Penal Code. Yeah, true. But to my knowledge, any legal change when it comes to laws is to be done in Parliament. And to my knowledge, members of Parliament are politicians, or at least they are affiliated to political parties. In other terms, every single law is a work of politics and political parties. Therefore, we open channels of communication with political parties. May 6, 2018 was the day of the general parliament elections in Lebanon. We spent more than 3 months working on our LGBTIQ+ political lobbying. We met every single political party, be it a traditional political party, being a newly established political party, and we met quite a lot of independent people who are running for parliament. Who are we? I was part of this people We had former advisors to a prime minister or to a minister, people who used to be members of parliament, people who teach political communication. We had people who identify as gay or lesbian people. And we had a lot of straight people as well doing this with us. How is Beirut Pride surviving so far? Well, people donate services to Beirut Pride. We do not take funds, so we do not take cash. We take services, graphic design services, people who are offering their venues, and so on. Part of the money I make goes into Beirut Pride, or went into Beirut Pride 2017 and 2018. As of June 2018, Beirut Pride is being institutionalized. It's important that I be not continuously the face of Beirut Pride and the person operating Beirut Pride, so things do not become personal. I don't want people to say, oh yeah, this person is on board of Beirut Pride because he's a friend of Hadi. Or I can't be on Beirut Pride because I hate Hadi, I don't want to speak to Hadi. And therefore there is no other way for me to get in. Plus, you cannot do politics alone. We saw it in these elections. Some political parties wanted to do cavalier seul, which means they wanted to be performing politics by themselves with no alliances. And they lost. Fabulously lost. So, all this constituted the frame from which the program of 2018 emerged. On Saturday, May 12th, 2018, we celebrated families and parents who properly received the coming out of their kids, or who at least processed it in a way to keep the family an inclusive space and to keep family first, no matter what. That evening, we had the opening party of Beirut Pride that drained hundreds and hundreds of people for a massive opening party with Khansa, with Al-Sara and the Nubatoons, with a DJ set by Richard Ahwaji. And then, the next day, on Sunday, May 13th, we had a brunch at Haven for Artists with people playing music, singing. We had a talk about transgender individuals, the reality of being a transgender person in Lebanon. We also had another talk about femininity and masculinity with Abad, the NGO, at the Migrant Community Center. And then, in the evening, we had a massive drag show that took place. It was quite intense. With and without Beirut Pride, things are moving forward in a brilliant way. Beirut Pride is to act as a catalyst for things to move forward in the right direction in a fast and efficient way. Things move forward because it is called evolution. Evolution of mentalities, evolution of approaches. We benefit today from two important revolutions that took place. The transport revolution that allows us to go to any country in a few hours, and the revolution of communication, where you have access to all what's happening all over the world, where you have access to massive studies and text and information. If you don't like to read, no problem. You can watch a video telling you this. If you don't have time and you don't want to watch a video, you can hear a podcast. And you are getting information. In 2018, ignorance is a choice. In 2018, it's very easy for us to move forward. In 2018, it is challenging to have convictions and to be on a clear path. Set a strategy, have a vision, have a way to get things done, and yes, you will be moving forward. You are not to be led by mediocre people. You are to reflect. You are to know how to be sharp. You are to be having empathy. You are to keep your channels of communication open. You are to trust people. You are to believe in yourself. You are to have faith in the people around you. And this is how you build a society. This is how you build a country. And this is how you build a world and you make it a better place for everyone to be in it. Thank you very much.
With special thanks to Hadi Damien. Share your narrative. Email queernarrativesbeirut@gmail.com with your written or phone recorded stories, and we'll publish them on our website. Anonymity guaranteed. Queer Narratives Beirut is a collaboratively produced word-of-mouth podcast, made with support from Mansion and The Outpost magazine, and produced alongside the Radio Mansion project in June 2018, supported by Chase Consortium. Share your stories and find out more at queernarrativesbeirut.com.